Oh, of course.
No, you probably
You
probably have no idea what it's about. It's not about
Okay.
you managing him, but we get the past and the future here with you, the former skipper for Stephen Strasburg, and the future. Tony, when did you know how special this kid was going to be?
Pretty early on, I think. The best way to describe it is he gets everything, not just the baseball part, but the responsibility part, the answering the questions part. He's special, and Riggs was calling me during the summer. I kept trying to tell her, hey, he gets it. I'm telling you, he gets it. And we're all excited. I know I am. I kind of saw this 2 years ago. I just it's time. We want to see what he can do against major league hitters. And they got you got your process that they have to go through, and he's going through it. But eventually, he's going to get to where he wanted to be, which is the big leagues, and pitch.
And Jim, how about you? I mean, you probably heard all the hype. Did you see it right away when you saw him in camp?
Yeah, I mean, spring training he was outstanding, and what I really like about him is as Tony used the phrase, he gets it. The whole rookie in camp thing, very humble. He was there to be seen and not heard type guy. He never said a word. He just was totally respectful to the veteran players, and he doesn't give anybody any ammo to get on him. Because he don't do anything stupid. Ian Desmond will do some stupid stuff, but he's just he was really a pleasure to watch, and we look forward to having him.
Well, how much of that comes from Tony Gwynn? I mean, did you prepare him? Or this is how the majors are. This is what's different.
It's his parents, obviously, but I think every kid who dreams about getting to this point thinks about playing in the big leagues, thinks about the money they're going to make. Nobody thinks about the responsibility that comes with it, and that's the only point I try to get across to Steve. Everybody gives me the credit. Really, Rusty Filter, our pitching coach, turned him into a tiger. And coming out of high school, I think he wasn't as tough as he needed to be. Rusty Filter toughened him up, and he's turned him into a monster. It's just, and he's been doing that since he was 19 years old. So.
Are you surprised by all the hype, though? I've never seen anything like this.
No, because I think a lot of us haven't seen anything like this. I mean, poised, polished, as a sophomore in college, and he just carried it over. And I know people are excited about seeing him. We're all excited about seeing him, but the test will be when he gets out there on that major league mound. That's what he's dreamed about his whole life. And we're all anxious to see him and see what he does.
Have you guys talked about him before over the past few months since the draft?
I talked to Tony right when we drafted him, and then in the process of trying to sign him. Tony and I talked quite a bit, but then after we signed him, we talked, and he just gave me great information about Stephen. But as I said, I think Tony downplayed a little bit. Tony did a great job with him about how to conduct yourself too, because he's really just a humble young gentleman that as Tony said, really gets at how to conduct himself around major league ball players.
Right. Last thing I want to ask you, Jim. You were the manager here for a couple of years, and Tony Gwynn was your right fielder. Did you think at the time, this guy could be manager one day?
No question. He could be a manager,
Really?
he could be a hitting coach, he could farm director, general manager. Tony could be anything he wants. Tony knows the game, and I'll say this. And I'm not. Many people have heard me say this. I don't know if Tony ever heard me say it. Tony's one guy. I never saw Tony make a mistake on the field. I only had the pleasure of managing him 2 years. I never saw him throw to the wrong base, run when he shouldn't run, miss a sign. I never saw him make a mistake on the baseball field.
All right, there's one thing I got to pick on you, and you know what it's about already.
No,
Tony, you know what it is. You know what it is right now.
I know.
Because, all right, Tony Gwynn was.
Yeah.
He was
talked about it on the air a
single
couple of times
short
already.
of the cycle. You took him out. Tony, did it even occur to you to say skip?
No.
No, I need a single.
No, we were winning like 11-1. And
That's the kind of respect Tony had. Really.
You want to do it the right way.
But you know what? I was totally oblivious to it. I would not have done that. And I had one coach on the staff who later told me, he said he knew, but he didn't want to say anything because he wanted Tony to get out of the game at that point. But I always felt bad about it. But what are you going to do?
Honestly, I thought another chance would come up. Really, that's how you thought. we were talking about it on the air the other
Yeah.
day because Venable was, I think, a double away
Right.
from the cycle. And Dick Enberg said, I can't believe all the years we've been in existence, nobody's had the cycle. Well, the closest one was, what was Jim Riggleman thinking? So I ended up telling the story a lot, but it's really not that big a deal.
Oh,
One of the things that
they've
what
never.
you're thinking about is winning the game.
Yeah.
You're not. I don't get caught up in people's individual stuff. That's to reflect back on later. If I had known, I would have left him in there. But I just to this day, I can't tell you who made the All-Star team, who the MVP is. It's about team
You can't, huh?
So
That's I steal a lot of his stuff, save stuff.
Okay, so just so you know, if Strasburg does all the hype lives up, he's one batter away from a no-hitter. You'll leave it in there, right?
Stand here because we're going to have a 7-inning game. While I take him out of the game this year with a no-hitter, and I'm going to have security get me out of the stadium.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
Comes up all the time.
Yeah, go on, do your thing, man. Good to see you.
Everybody.